Crafters, welcome to Coffee and a Card. This is an informal, casual crafting time where I spotlight a technique or a Stampin' Up! Product. I'm Vicki Sewell, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator near Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you'd like and follow me on Facebook at Stampin' Chat 30, I'd be honored. Or you can email me with paper crafting questions at stampinchat30@gmail.com. If you see a Stampin' Up! Product in my technique video that you'd like to add to your crafting supplies, you can click my Shop Now link at the top of my Facebook page or the link that I've added below this video. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. Now let's get started on today's project. I thought today that I would make some treats for the 4th of July. It's going to be upon us before we know it, and I love to make treats for my guests. So I'm going to use the cracker and treat box dies. There's 3 designs that I'm going to show you. The first one is going to be made with our in color paper 2022 to 2024. I've used the Starry Sky and the Sweet Sorbet to make this one. I'll set these 2 aside for a little while, but I'll let you look at them. But I will set them aside for a little bit, and we'll talk about those after I show you the easiest way to use the cracker and treat box dies. You can find these dies at the top of page 45 of the annual 2022-23 catalog. The set is $36. You can see that you can make some beautiful things for Christmas. They have some labels that you can add, and they're going to be really cute, but they're also really versatile. Here's what the dies look like when you get them. There's a big die, and then you get lots and lots of cute little label dies. There's even a stitch die over here. So this is the big piece, and then you can see those little label dies that are left behind. There's also some designs that you can use to cut out the middle, which is what I did with the cracker box that we're going to do today. So let's get started. Here's a piece of that Sweet Sorbet in color paper. And you need a piece of paper that's at least 5 by 6. This paper comes as a 6 by 6 piece. And we're going to lay those dies on there like that. And just run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Like this. Now, we'll throw that away. Well, I'll save that scrap. We'll take this off. You'll see there's some nice diamond pieces that could be saved for a quilt type card. Maybe put them together like a flower like this. Just an idea that I'm going to play with a little bit later. Some kind of design like that. Maybe even alternate patterns. Maybe alternate colors. Depends on what colors I have when I get done with this project. So now we have the cracker box. Before we fold this, we want to use this die to cut some stars out of each section. This die cuts and scores, so you can see the score lines and you can put your dies on there easily. If you're afraid that they're going to slip around, you can always use a little piece of washi tape to hold them in place, like this. Stampin' Up! Had hoped to come out with a magnetic plate, but the quality is not up to their standards, so they've withdrawn that from the catalog until they can get the design right. It's one thing about Stampin' Up! You can always count on their quality materials. So, I have the first cut. I'm going to lift that up and you can see those cute little star cutouts. I am going to kind of sweep them off to the side. They will be great for decorating another card. Then I'm going to put this on that next section. Put a little piece of washi tape there to hold it. You'll notice I didn't start at the very first section. The very first section is going to be covered up with glue. It'll become the bottom. So I only need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So we'll just run this through really quickly. All right, so I did 4 sections. I left the last 2 blank because they're going to be glued together and our color won't show. I'm going to go ahead and fold these and score them with my bone folder like this on each score line gently, because designer series paper is not quite as thick as your cardstock paper. So we want to be gentle with the folds. There we go. Now, there's a fold line along here. You want to be carefully get that started. Careful with our bone folder. And another fold line here. Kind of get it started with your fingers and then go along it. Smooth it down with your bone folder. And we'll do one more fold like this. Get those gently folded back. Now, all our folds are there. And to fill in those stars, because if you put small candies in there, they might fall out. If you put large candies in there, you may just want to leave it open like that so people can get a peek at the candies. But if you really want it to stand out and look very 4th of July-ish, you can use another strip of paper. This paper is 2 inches wide, and I'm going to add the glue because I can see better where the glue needs to go. I'm going to add the glue to this piece of paper. That way I can get it in between the stars where it needs to hold. All right, so I'm going to lay that down so that the stars are covered right along there on the inside. And it doesn't have to go. You can leave it a little bit off the edge so it won't show. We just want to flip it over and make sure the stars are covered. And then I will cut this part off with my snips. We know we've got all the stars covered. Put that aside. All right, so there you go. You have some nice stars. Now, the folds will probably have to be folded again, gently, because you've added that paper that doesn't have the folds, like that. And then we're ready to glue right here on this end tab. And a little on this, and a little on this. Oh, I forgot, there's also a score line here, so you could almost even score those to kind of pop up a little bit more. I'll just kind of get them started with my finger here. There we go. Lots of score lines on this one for you. All right, so we're gonna turn this around and line it up right here. You wanna make sure that you've got some glue on the little tabs on the end here. And just even those up and hold it with your fingers for just a few minutes, like so. It won't take long for that glue to adhere. And then we're ready. We've got some white twine. We'll cut off about 8 or 9 inches. That gives you a little tying room. I'm going to find the bottom of my treat box. Now, think about what kind of treats you could put in here. This is large enough that you could even put lip gloss, of course, candies of all kinds. You could go to the store and get you some nice red, white, and blue candy. Should be out in the stores really soon if it's not already. I find that around Memorial Day is a great time to buy 4th of July things, because they're not really that far apart. So I'm going to tie this bow. May have left it a little too short. Let's hope not. Push it through here. And pull. There we go. Cute little bow. Pull it to the size that you'd like for it to be. Right now, you want to remember to put your candy or your treat, whatever you want to put in there. You want to remember to put that in now before you tie the other side. And you would want to turn it around. And again, just pull that up. Like that. Isn't that going to be a cute favor? I'm not going to tie the bow on that one because I'll just have to untie it to fill it. Isn't that cute, easy, and quick? Now, of course, the stars don't show on this side, but that's okay because that's the side that's going to lay on the table and it won't show. So that is the easiest way to decorate a cracker and treat box for the 4th of July. There are some other methods you could use. You can run some white paper through an embossing folder. I use this retired star-crossed embossing folder. It was recently in one of the mini catalogs, and I just thought it was going to be too useful later down the road, so I had to get it. And this is what the folder looks like. And I thought it might be great with stars and stripes for the 4th of July. Or you could use any other embossing folder you have on hand, maybe one with little dots, or you may have one with little stars. Then I took my ink. This is Night of Navy. a little ink on it, get the splotches off, and just rub over those stripes to add a little color to it. Getting close to the line, but not over it. I love how using these blending brushes on embossing folders adds such texture and brings out the embossing folder design. Then, of course, we have to add some red. So I chose to do the stars in the red. Now, you'll notice the embossing folder doesn't cover the whole design, but that's okay. Doesn't cover the whole size of the paper. That's okay, because when we put our die on it, you remember this edge is going to get glued down, or we're going to glue that over that and cover it. So it's okay that the embossing folder doesn't go all the way to the edge. It will still work. So I'll even up that color a little bit and go right along the edge here. So there you have a great design. And when you get it all finished, this is what that cracker treat box is going to look like. Darling. Another method you can try is using a large background stamp. I used, for example, the Gentle Waves background stamp. It's on the last chance sale in the mini catalog from 2022, the January to June. So you have until the end of June to get this stamp, which is going to be great for all your water pictures, but change up the color and you're going to get a nice background for this cracker box. There's a very old stamp that has retired called the Bokeh Dots, or Bokeh, Bokeh Dots stamp. It's a little smaller, so you have to stamp that in sections, like you'd stamp here, re-ink, stamp here, maybe stamp in the middle, stamp off the edges. Takes several times to stamp that one, but it gives a nice fireworks effect. It doesn't matter, it's not going to matter that these lines overlap, because when you finish, this is what it's going to look like. And those lines just add more stripes to the project. So look around your house, see which background stamps you have that you can use. If you don't have a background stamp to use, check out the waves. I'll show you how this works. These background stamps are fantastic. Or let me change that. The Stamparatus is fantastic to use with these large background stamps. I find that trying to hold this large stamp, sometimes I drop it, and then it marks up my card where I don't want it to be marked. So I put these large background stamps on my Stamparatus. Now, I didn't put this all the way over to the edge because I wanted to give just a little room for the hinge to stamp. So I marked it right here. And we're going to ink up oh, I forgot. Let's put always put another ink pad underneath to make your Stamparatus level. I also use a stamp set box, but I like the ink pad boxes. They're a little bit sturdier. All right, so we got that all inked up, and we're just gonna bring it over and rub over it a little bit. And the nice thing about the Stamparatus, if one section didn't get inked up as much as you'd like, you can always go back and tap that section and try it again. You can ink it up again. So I'll give a little more emphasis to that section right there. On this project, it probably won't matter much to have a little variation in the colors, but there are some projects you'd like for the ink to be really well distributed. All right, that looks pretty nice. And again, we're not going to worry about this so much. When we put this die on it, that's the part that's going to get covered up. We're going to glue this section on top of that section, so we don't have to worry about that. Same with the ends. There's going to be just a little bit of white. A little bit of white on the ends here at this end and this end, but that's okay. It's just going to add to the decoration. So basically what we're doing here is stamping our own background paper, our own designer series paper. So look around your house, see if you have any star stamps, see if you have any. Even some snowflake stamps might work. Any swirly stamps that you have. I kind of think of the curls that come off of a coffee cup. Some of those curly Q type stamps. And I happen to have an old retired set called July 4th. If you're lucky enough to find that somewhere on a sale somewhere, secondhand sale, pick that up. It has a star, and it has some really cute fireworks. So I'm going to put that there just as kind of a guide, and I want to stamp one of the fireworks here, and I want to stamp my other firework over here. Since this is going to be folded, then I'm going to come back with some more firework stamps, and I'm going to stamp some here. So you can just use some, look at your stamps, kind of evaluate and see what designs you have. I am using Night of Navy ink, and of course this was real red. And just kind of build your design. I start with some of the larger designs first. And then I'm going to come back with some smaller accent designs. And I'm just going to kind of fill in this space right here. You can see this is a lighter design. It's maybe not a lot smaller, but it is lighter. And then I'm going to stamp along the edge here. And see, that's going to cover up any of our white space as we go. And I'm going to come back around and do this side. It's just kind of fun sometimes to make your own designer paper. Use your stamps and make your own designer paper. So there we go. There's our beautiful designer series paper that we've made. And we will just put this on here like this. And run that through the Stamp and Emboss machine. Add your ribbon and tie it off. This is what that design looks like. This is the bottom. So let's look at our 3 designs again. Here's the designer series paper, the new in colors. Here's our embossing folder, cracker treat box, and here's our background stamped embossing folder. Well, I hope you're having a great summer and you're getting excited about your 4th of July activities. It's probably only about 3 weeks away. Right now, my husband's got the pool opened up and I think I'm going to go swim. See you later.